Welcome to the 2021 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. On this weekend edition, July 24th, 2021, thank you for joining me once again. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you for all your support. And we've made it to the end of another week, almost to the end of another month here. And things are looking pretty bad right now for the U.S. economy, for the world economy, but especially the U.S. The good news is it's still chugging along. It's still being fueled by the Federal Reserve printing money, and the interest rates are low, and things are just humming along nicely, unfortunately. But the jobless claims we got out has shown again that the jobless claims continue to rise well above expectations, even the media's expectations. We're supposed to only get 350,000 initial jobless claims and filed last week, but last week, Thursday, this past week, we got total 419,000 jobless claims. That's a lot, and this has been going on for the last 20, 30 weeks now. We're over a year and a half into this crisis, and we're continuing to lose jobs. And I'm wondering, is there any more jobs left to be lost? I mean, at this point, for every week, we've been averaging at least 300,000 jobs since this whole thing started last year, February 2020. And, it makes you wonder, is there any more jobs left to be lost or left to be filed for in the retail, hospitality, transportation, utilities, business services, secretarial services, you name it, The total represented a gain from the previous week when we had 368,000 jobs lost. And even continuing claims, that's the good news, is that it declined by 29,000 to 3.24 million. Continuing claims that we still have out there. And that's just the numbers that they're giving us, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, the numbers could be higher than that. This is just what the media numbers that we have available through the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, of course, and those reports are available online as needed. But this is the claims that we've lost. At the height of this pandemic, they're saying we had 6.1 million initial claims. We all know now that was like 20 million claims. And now it went down to like maybe 15 million claims, but now we still have 20 million Americans who are unemployed. Then we have 20 million Americans who are underemployed, meaning they're working 2 and 3 jobs to make up for the one job that just never came back. They said at first they said they were furloughing people, and that is. And then they brought back some people that were furloughed, and they included them in the jobs number. But the other people that got furloughed, they were let go. They were made redundant. They had to look for something else. And so all of that is going to be factored into this equation here, ladies and gentlemen. We are still losing jobs. There is no magic wand that's going to bring back all of these jobs in a matter of a year, even if the pandemic numbers go away. But now we know it's not going to go away because we've had, the Delta variant. Now they're saying there's a Lambda variant. I guess we're going to go through all of the Greek alphabet. It's funny because, when we talked about the hurricanes going on, they said that no one going to use the Greek letters to name the hurricanes for the hurricane season, right? When we went out of the letters, they named the hurricanes A to Z. And now we're using the Greek letters to name this pandemic. That's so ironic, Anyway, that was just a side. But guys, money printing is a flawed experiment that has done America more harm than good. This was an opinion piece in Market Watch today. Investors are captive to modern monetary theory and its non-answers to economic problems. Basically, modern monetary theory, or MMT as I like to call it, it's a fancy way of saying that you can basically print your way out of any hole or out of any situation. So if that's the case, then everybody who's invested in cryptos and these things that are non-tangible assets or NFTs or whatever you want to call it, they should be millionaires and billionaires right now. But we all know that you can't make value out of something that you don't, out of an economy that does not produce anything. Production is your economy, and the people are only spending, we, myself included, are only spending money that the government gives us in the form of stimulus checks. And so that money that we get in stimulus, that we were getting in stimulus checks, because now the stimulus program has ended for most Americans, except with the exception of the child tax credit, the $300. But the money that we were getting, those $1,400 checks or the $600 checks or the $700 checks or whatever it was, that money had to be spent back into the economy to try to stimulate the economy. What's happening now is there's no more stimulation going on with this economy because there's no more stimulus checks. And the infrastructure bill that your President Biden wants to pass is not going directly to us, to the people. It's going to the businesses. The politicians and the state governors are going to spend that money as they see fit. And we know that state and local governments are wasteful. Well, yeah, even the federal government is wasteful and the money spent, and we've been over that before. So that's why it doesn't work. Keynesian spending, just spending money at the drop of a whim, getting the big government and government funded universal basic income. How would you like that? Just getting a check. Say you get a $2,000 a month check every month, a universal basic income check. What do you feel about that? Are you for that? Are you against that? Do you think it's a good idea to give every American citizen a $2,000 a month check to stay at home, or just to have, let's say you a husband and wife couple. Let's say your wife works or you don't work. One stays at home, the other works. Or like they said in England, that's happened a lot. In the United Kingdom, that's happened back in the past in their system. Or let's say on a hybrid system, you only work 6 months out the year, and then the other 6 months out the year you receive a check from the government, kind of a socialistic hybrid program that's going on. That's sort of where we're going. But the thing is that this economy is fiat currencies were not designed to last forever. The dollar is not designed to last forever. The sterling pound, the British pound went under. You know that. Rome, other countries have lost their currencies, and this is the same thing that's gonna happen to the dollar. It's basically run its life cycle. It's been 80 to 90 years. It's pretty much done. And so because of that, MMT or any other money printing is not going to work, because the dollar is on its last 10 years here, or maybe even less than that. I say 5 years. And they're going to introduce a digital currency. Now, China's already beat us to that, and they probably will introduce that currency. And then what's going to happen is the rest of the countries are going to get off the dollar, and they already have been getting off the dollar. And China's going to be leading that effort. And they're gonna go to the World Bank or to the whatever organization draws up the special drawing rights for the currency, and they're going to say, look, we need you to base this on such and such. We get off the dollar. We're going to go back to not a gold standard, but we're going to go to a digital standard. And China's going to have a digital dollar backed by their digital yuan or whatever it is, yuan. Now, credit cards slashed. There's another reason why this economy has been going up for so long, at least pretending to go up. Dow hit a record 35,000 this past Friday. The reason why this economy has been continuing to go up in this upward trajectory is because business credit and our personal credit was up, at an all-time high. Easy money, cheap money was lending at zero interest rates. Ninja loans were created. No job, no assets, loans were created. All of that was going on during this time before the repo crisis hit in September 2019. That's what started it. Remember, the repo liquidity crisis started it. So credit was large, but now banks are already starting to slash. According to Bloomberg, they slashed $99 billion from the spending limits during the pandemic from these credit cards. Everybody from Bank of America to Wells Fargo to Capital One, Citi, Chase, JP Morgan Chase, they slashed this money. Capital One Financial Corp, known for its "What's in Your Wallet" slogan, led the way, by cutting $30 billion from its limits by the end of 2020. Larger rivals Citigroup and JP Morgan Chase saw their tools fell by $19 billion. And, so these is a sign of things to come here. You can see the limits fell by as much as they cut lines and account signups before. And this wasn't like Wells Fargo, who created a bunch of fraudulent accounts and were fined for that, creating a bunch of fake accounts and charging people extra money on car insurance through their little auto loan program. These are banks like Capital One, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase that cut people's credit card limits down. As you can see here, down 30%, 20%, 10%. And this is going to make a difference, because these are the three things that's going to set these house of cards down for both businesses, small businesses, and us personal spenders and shoppers and consumers. Personal, it's not consumers, but personal people that don't own the business, or just personal workers. When the credit limits go down, both personal limits go down and commercial limits go down, and also when the inflation numbers and the interest rates go up, that's going to be the signal to the backbone of this economy. That's going to be the final piece of the puzzle that's going to send the house of cards tumbling. Let alone if one of these big banks fail the stress test that the Federal Reserve Bank is putting them through now. So just think about it. Right now, they're slashing limits, right? And on top of that, we have high unemployment. Unemployment is still around 6% and growing, as you can see from the numbers. Businesses are still closing. There's still a lot of commercial vacant real estate. You drive around any city or major city or even suburb towns, you will see a bunch of for lease signs on these city streets for commercial leases and retail leases. Okay, that's still outstanding. The banks are going to have to absorb all that, and they're not going to be able to do that. So they're slashing limits now, getting ready to make that available credit to buy up hedge funds so they can come in and buy up the rest of the neighborhoods and different things like that. But at the same time, we have a crisis because this economy is going to drop because the credit limits and everything of everybody is going to be slashed big time, even more so. And on top of that, these banks are going to be limiting people's ATM withdrawals, and they're going to be charging more fees for checking, saving accounts, and other accounts. So you can see that coming already. You can see a lot of the branches have already cut down. Bank of America said they've cut down a lot of in-store branches are coming into the bank branches. And they're drawing more people to the ATMs to drive up ATMs or the ATMs they have in these other little buildings that they have. So they're going to be cutting the withdrawal limits at the ATM. That's next, coming up in the fall. So that's why it's so important that we preach preparation. We preach having cash on hand. We preach having silver, cryptos on hand outside of Coinbase.com. You can keep your cryptos on a digital USB wallet or on a digital wallet on your phone outside of the system. You can keep money, cash, under your mattress or whatever, just a little bit, nothing crazy, but I'm just saying a little bit, because when the system goes offline, when we had these Black Swan events, like you've seen these hacking events yesterday that was hacked. Amazon was, there was a hacking event that brought down a couple of companies, Delta Airlines and a couple other companies this past weekend. That can happen again, and you don't want to be caught, unaware doing the civilian salute. I don't know, what's going on. So just be prepared, stay prepared, guys. Enjoy your week too. Continue to prepare, but enjoy your week and have fun. Continue to get out, get fresh air, walk at a park, exercise, bike ride, whatever you do to decompress, because it's still a lot of things. Even though the world is dangerous and it's collapsing in many ways, and the U.S. is collapsing in many ways, there's a lot of still beautiful places to visit, to see. And the beach is nice. Summertime is here for a lot of us in the northern hemisphere. And it's still a beautiful time to be alive and a beautiful time to get out. God has blessed us with fresh air, clean heart, clean living for the most part. And so we need to get out and enjoy it while we can, because these are really the good times, really. So this is the beginning of the collapse. So this is the good time. So just enjoy the freedoms that we have now, because before they become taken away from us, either intentionally or unintentionally, based on this pandemic or fake pandemic or whatever they want to call it, with all these different variants, nobody can keep up. But enjoy the time you have now. I'll talk to you very soon. Continue to prepare, and God bless everyone.